Before I begin to explore the many different aspects of regimen with you over the next 12 weeks, I first want to begin with the master principle underlying all of regimen. In fact, it underlies all of healthcare. This is the principle or concept of resonance, and it is something which you should always keep in mind through everything you do with your health and in your life in general. So, resonance is a concept which comes from the science of acoustics and can also apply to other fields of study, such as other branches of physics or healthcare. Resonance describes a relationship between two things, such as two frequencies or two vibrating bodies, such as the strings of a violin or the column of vibrating air of a clarinet. And it can also describe how one thing can evoke a response in another thing on the basis of a resonance between them. An example from music is of how one tuning fork can be struck and through sympathetic resonance will cause another tuning fork of the same frequency to spontaneously ring the same note. In your own health, you will have experienced this any time you have come down with a cold when you caught a virus or bacteria because you had a resonance with it at that moment. Anyone around you who did not share that resonance would have been safe from catching it from you. Everything which is alive is made up of dynamic polarities, where two opposites interact with each other to produce a living function. Your body, for example, is constantly in an interplay between forces of life and death, such as in the process of generating new cells to replace the old ones which have died. Resonance is made up of the polarities of expansion and compression, or consonance and dissonance. A well-composed piece of music, for example, will be a pleasure to listen to because it artfully mixes the polar functions of harmony and dissonance to create a feeling of moving forward through cycles of tension and release. The same is true in any resonant relationship. The functions of expansion and compression are what ultimately causes forward momentum. Constant agreement or constant disagreement would represent a relationship that was stuck. Now, what's the difference between resonance and attraction? These two terms are often used interchangeably, but I need to draw a sharp differentiation between them. Unfortunately, this has been compounded by the popularity of the concept of the so-called law of attraction, which is actually not at all the same thing as resonance. To keep this explanation simple, I'll say that resonance is anything which gives you more of your true self or helps you to unfold the fullness of every aspect of yourself. In contrast, attraction may provide you with a superficial or short-term pleasure, but it always comes with a price of something that you need to give up or sacrifice in exchange. This is the metaphorical deal with the devil. Now, is resonance easy? Of course, I wouldn't be asking that if it were. There are any number of reasons why resonance may be difficult for you, including that you may find it difficult to distinguish between resonance and attraction, as your resonance organ or inner voice may be dulled or may never have been properly developed in the first place. Or you may know the difference, but succumb to attraction for any number of reasons, including being driven by an unresolved disease state that you still have. Or you may know what is resonant for you, but avoid it due to the conscious or subconscious desire to avoid the growing pains which resonance ultimately leads you towards. Now, your homework for this week is in your journal for at least the next day or two, reflect on your regimen and lifestyle in light of the concept of resonance versus attraction. Which principle dominates your choices and why? Name at least one specific example you'd like to work on changing for yourself. Also, how strongly do you feel connected to your resonance organ or inner voice? What do you think you could do to better develop it? Now, even this short exercise will give you a starting point and foundation from which you can work through the next 90 days of the regimen program and start to build a foundation for yourself and to move forward in the direction that you wish to go.